take you to Illinois, where students in the small town of Cairo, Illinois, are making emotional pleas directly to the Housing Secretary, Dr. Ben Carson, to try and save their homes. So let's give you the backstory. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has plans to shut down 2 complexes because of unsafe conditions there. But the children and some of the parents and the teachers that work in the area say they'll be forced to move away from the city, leaving behind friends, family, and school.
I'm writing this letter so I can ask if you could help us.
I feel horrible about this whole thing. Another thing I am sad about, the HUD is making us move away from family, friends, everybody that we love and care about.
Most of the people who go to the school here live in housing.
You're hearing some of the voices of the children and the students there. I'm joined right now by Cairo School District Superintendent, Dr. Andrea Evers. Also with her is Latrice Brooker. She's a student who wrote one of those letters to Dr. Carson. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. Dr. Evers, first of all, I know you have called the housing complex unlivable, and you even called it a man-made disaster. But you also say that it is not the right move to simply shut these homes down and displace all of these people, and particularly your students.
Absolutely. And I think it's more of the timeline. It's just so compressed. It's 4 to 5 months. These families all have to relocate. And the impact to our district is almost 50% of our students would be lost to this move. So without having like a transition plan to keep most of our families in the community, it could be very detrimental.
So help me understand. So they basically are planning the demo, but they've not planned a relocation for these people. It's on their own. I understand they've been given vouchers, but there isn't substitute housing that they've been placed in?
Not local substitute housing. They will be working with relocation specialists, but sufficient housing in Cairo is just not available. So maybe 15 to 20 families at the most could stay local. But most of our families, the remaining 165 or so, would have to relocate to neighboring areas or potentially across the nation.
And Latrice, I know the idea of doing that is not sitting well with you, and you're one of the students that wrote a letter to Dr. Carson. Will you read me a couple of lines from your letter?
Yes. People in housing apartments can't even leave their food unattended because they are scared there will be rodents to eat it instead of them. Most residents of housing can't even let their children play outside like they want because they are too frightened they will get hurt.
Latrice, what would you like to see happen?
I would like to see that they will let them stay, and housing conditions aren't really good, but they don't want to leave either.
Right, and that's the challenge, isn't it, Dr. Evers, is that we all recognize that the conditions there are unlivable, but the idea of uprooting these young people and their families and maybe even sending them out of state or across the country isn't feasible. What does seem like a reasonable solution to you, Dr. Evers?
Well, you know, I would hope that maybe some temporary housing could potentially be brought into the area. I know that there are several legislators, state and national, who are working to come up with some solutions, some temporary housing solutions that maybe could be brought into Cairo. But right now, it's still very uncertain whether or not those options will be in place before the school year starts. And we start our school year next year on early August 11th. Yeah. So
that's soon.
It's a very short time window.
Have you heard from Dr. Carson? Has he responded to the students' letters?
Not yet. We have had 2 representatives that come regularly to Cairo who work in Dr. Carson's office, but we have not heard directly from Secretary Carson.
Well, maybe a little national televised plea right here will get the Secretary's attention. Let's hope for that, and you'll let us know if he does respond, will you?
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Andrea Evers and Latrice Brooker. Latrice, you did a great job reading that letter, and thank you so much for being vocal on behalf of your fellow students. Atta girl.
I sent you my angel to watch over you.